Welcome back to Live with Loyal. I'm your host, Loyal. Today we got a big dog in the alpha male class. Let's say that. He's an entrepreneur. He's a father. He's a husband. He's godson. You feel me? He's a God-fearing man. Natural born hustler, Detroit legend. I don't want to call you Reggie. I don't never call you Reggie, but I'm going to call you Reggie, dog. We got Reggie Stewart in the house. Hey, Mr. Hygienics Express. You know, I called this man today. You know what he said? Hygienic Express. I can have, like, wait, who is this? Who is?
It's business, man. Like,
Bro.
you know, when you conduct business, you have to carry yourself in a certain way. You have to be your business.
Big facts. Big
So
facts.
you know, you never know if the phone call you're getting is about business or not.
So you got to stay in there. You got to stay in there. I'm learning it. I'm learning it.
And then you get to the point where you learn how to separate the two. You call my business phone. So it's like, get the business answer.
You
know,
I got Reggie Stewart. I got Reggie on the phone. I'm like, who is Reggie, bro?
Yeah.
Hey, man, first off, I just want to say, Hygienic Express, bro, that was some genius idea, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kill it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a smart idea as well. You feel me?
But you know what, man? If I can be honest with you, it's not super original. It's something that many people are doing and have done, but
They ain't do it like Reggie.
I think every
They
person
ain't do it like
just
you.
they put their spin on what they do. Whatever your passion is, you're gonna put your spin on it. You know, it's a lot of guys doing podcasts. It's a lot of guys with clothing lines. It's a lot of guys doing a lot of things common. But you see certain people stand out, or you see certain people do it differently. You know, so I didn't plant a new tree. I just picked some fruit off of one and ran with it, and it's working for me. You know what I mean? It works.
You did that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. And you do it with class too.
Thank you.
I worked with you a couple times out there. You know what I'm saying? You sweat. He
real
had your
work.
boy
It's for the
sweat.
big
You know what I'm
boys,
saying? But he had me out there for sure. He gave me opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I definitely appreciate you for that, for sure. But seeing that, to be honest, like, I've been knowing you my whole life on this. You know what I'm saying? And to see somebody that I know got their own business running, it deeply inspired me to do what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I really got on the ball trying to get my EIN and excuse me. And you helped me with all that, like getting the LLC down and knowing the paperwork that I need, knowing how to talk when it comes to business.
I think it's critical, man. Like, it's things that I wasn't taught as a child because my parents weren't taught certain things. Like, we come from a family where we're taught, you know, you get a job in a plant, you do good. You stay there 30 years, you retire, you know what I'm saying? You have a nice 401k, and at the end of the day, I would never knock that. I used to live that life. I've done it.
Me too.
But you get to a point where
It ain't
what's
enough.
for you may not be what's for someone else, and vice versa. So I figured out very quickly that wasn't the life for me. I didn't want a life where I had to ask so much permission and be under so much rule to simply take a vacation with my family or go to my kids' baseball or basketball things. Like, I don't want to ask permission for that. I don't want to have to
pick them up from school, take them to school.
You know what I mean? And it's good because for me, I was never really a college guy, right? School wasn't my thing, right?
I was gonna ask you that. Like, where did you go to school?
I graduated. I went to Henry Ford, but I graduated from Ferndale, man. So I got in trouble in high school. I went through trials and tribulations, and I was put in with kids who were like, "We don't have no hope for y'all." You know what I mean? Y'all have to go over here because y'all can't fit in
With the
you
ones,
get in too much trouble. So I was on that path. And when I graduated high school, for me it was like, man, I don't want to do more school. I just finished this. I'm not eager to go back to it. So I worked. I got a job out of high school, man, and I
First
went
job.
into a plant. Right? It wasn't a big three. It was a small parts manufacturer, and I worked. And I
How long
always
did that
been
last?
well. It lasted a while, man, because I'm the type of person that like when I do something, I'm gonna own that shit.
Facts. Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
Facts.
don't do anything just to play around with it or
Ain't no half
trial
step.
basis. Like if
Ain't
I'm
no
gonna do
half
something, I'm
step.
gonna do it right.
Facts.
So when I started working, I was on the line and I'm doing my thing, and I would notice other people who, were working a little bit less but making a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I ask questions. I say, man, who is that guy? They say, oh, that's the team lead. He look over the team and he don't really do a station unless somebody don't come to work
Some
or
breakdown.
right. So I said, damn, well, how you get that job? They say, well, you gotta learn every job on the line because you gotta be able to fill in anywhere. So I said, cool. I get with the team lead. I ride with him. I said, listen, man, I want to kind of learn different stations. He ain't thinking nothing of it. He like, cool. I just got another worker that can do more. The whole time in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna learn this shit and take his job, right?
Hey, look.
Or if I don't take his job when something opens,
I got some.
maybe I can apply. So about a year go by, and before you know it, I'm a team lead, right? And then as a team lead, I'm doing my thing, things grooving, and I always worked hard, so it wasn't like I was half stepping. I noticed, like, my supervisor, he don't do much.
Bex.
He don't be out here much. You know what I'm saying?
What is
like,
he doing back
What
there?
does he do? So I get with my supervisor at the time. I start asking him, criteria for his job, if there's anything I can do to help, boom, boom, boom. Because I really want to learn. I'm a person, I'm like experience, man. Like, if I want to know something, I'm going to learn it. So,
that shit.
the thing is, at that time, man, we had a supervisor who was an asshole. You know what I mean? And he was one of those dudes like hard nosed, treat everybody like garbage. I'm the boss, you the worker type of mentality. So I was nowhere near supervision at that time, but I had told myself, I said, if I ever get in his shoes or become a supervisor, I'm not gonna treat people the way he treats people. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna respect folks. Right. So I worked, and that guy ended up being like active duty. So he went off, had to do something with the military, and he never came back. And they put a friend of mine in his position. So when that happened, shout out my boy Ray,
Ray.
from Carmen. I still remember. Right.
Let me pause this for a second, big dog.
Go ahead.
Like we a little on fire.
Go ahead.
All right. We'll be right back, folks. We back. That's a little advertisement. You know what I'm saying? Come to LME Clothing. Get you some good merch. Holla at my man's Reggie. Hygienics Express. Get that carpet clean. Get that cart clean. Get that house clean. Get your business clean. I'm gonna get back to Hygienics Express, bro. Where did that name come from?
So listen, when I was thinking this up, cooking this up, at first I was like in my mind I want to do something that a lot of other people really aren't doing, right? So we had this pandemic going on, it's on the rise. Nobody really knew what was happening with this, and I said, well, I want to do something where I don't just clean, like we really disinfect or decontaminate, make people's homes and their businesses safe, because we didn't know how this was going to end up.
Right.
So I kept saying to myself, I'm like, I need a name that's not just like clean.
We
like,
clean.
What's something like what means clean, but like what's really important? And I said, well, the most important thing to me when we talk about clean is my hygiene. Right? As a man, you gotta have proper hygiene. As a woman, you gotta have proper hygiene. You gotta smell good, look good. So I'm like, damn, what's another word for hygiene? I said, well, hygienic. When I want my house to be hygienic. I want it when I leave somebody's house, it rings a bell. Like it's a name that's not something they hear every day.
Right.
And then I want to be able to do it in a timely fashion. I don't want to,
Express.
man. I don't want to be in somebody's
Genius.
house all day.
Genius.
I want to get in and give them great quality, great service, and a very reasonable amount of time. So I came up with Express, Hygienic Express.
Genius, bro.
And, you know, to be a little different, I said, well, I'm going to spell Express without the E on the front. I'm going to just make it the capital X.
That's it.
Press. And that's what happened, man.
I'm a brand type of guy. I'm the guy that make the logos and all that. I make the name for the companies and all that. When I seen your name and how you spelled it, the logo, I'm like, that's somebody who's deep into detail, who know what they wanted, sat down and took his time with it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't rush it. You know what I mean?
Didn't.
I was talking to people, man, family members and friends for months. And I kept saying, like, you know, I'm going to start a cleaning service. I'm going to start a cleaning service.
I remember these songs, for sure, for sure.
Like cleaning, man, that's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. You know, you get big contracts, $1 million contracts cleaning.
So what's some of the big contracts that you've had since you've been out
So
there?
we had a really big deal with Rent Center,
Okay.
doing their upholstery.
Shout out to Rent Center.
Shout out to Rent Center. We have some very big office buildings. A lot of suites that people turn into gyms.
So you doing all businesses, anybody, it don't matter.
Yeah, man. And then
Y'all heard that?
I have a lot of friends, man. I have a lot of friends that are business owners. So one night, me and my wife, me and Twyla, we sat on.
Shout out to
And
her.
this shout out my wife, my beautiful wife, love you. We sat on one night, and people might say, "Oh, this is cornball shit." But listen, we sat on one night when we first wanted to start businesses, and we really first got into our entrepreneur bag, and we made a list. Each of us made a list, and we counted on that list how many of our friends, people that we talk to or deal with kind of on a normal basis. Now, I don't mean every single day. You know, you're not, people moving groups, so we don't talk. Me and you don't talk every day.
Right.
But we're friends. You know what I mean? We close.
Yeah.
So we made these lists. And my wife's list had like 16 people on it that were people who were running their own businesses. And I don't discredit anyone that runs a business. I don't care if you're doing hair in your basement. I don't care if you're making t-shirts in your living room. I don't care if you're making music out your car, selling tape. In my mind, in my opinion, you are a business owner.
Yes.
You have a brand. You're funding your business out of pocket. You rock it. You know what I mean? So it's not so corporate and LLC and, you know, you got nail techs that work out of their cribs. You know what I mean? And they have more clientele than sometimes people working in
the shops. Facts.
So shout out to the business owners, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she had about 16. When I counted my list, I had 42 people on it.
Damn.
That were people.
And shout out to all
were,
42 of y'all.
Listen, people who were not just small timing. I'm talking about people in a bag. I got friends like family to me that have been making music for years. My brother K Deezy, shout out, is making movies.
Shout out Deezy.
G-Rock just dropped Hustle Mania.
Shout out
Like
G-Rock.
he's been like these boys been grooving forever. In my mind, they're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They always have been.
Yeah.
My brother Jay launching his food trucks. He got 4 food trucks now. The
Shout
Itis.
out Jay.
So it's like when I went down my list, I had like 42 people like this on it.
That's dope.
So I said, man, well, I know I'm gonna get support from my people just because of who I am. Not saying that I'm this big name or face, but everybody that I deal with is doing something positive. So it's nothing to get in and start your own thing and get that positive support. So, you know, we took that route, man, and that list really changed our whole mentality
That's dope.
towards business owners, towards being business owners. And it was like, man, like we really are getting into a different lane, a different avenue in our life, because we always, you know, I worked my way up the ladder in the corporate world, man, from the line to team lead to supervisor to production manager to lean manager to EHS manager, man. I've done a lot of different roles that helped me in what I'm doing today. So shout out to all the people that do work 9 to 5s, that have careers, because if it wasn't for me learning what I learned in my career, I never would have been able to start my own business and do what I'm doing now. You know, a big part of my success is just learning business hands-on. So I got to the point, man, where I was just tired, man. I was tired of, when I got to the point where I was in management and I worked different management roles, I always was the guy that saw the final numbers. Production numbers, dollar figures. You're talking about lead times, saving money, cutting waste. All these things add up to money. So I started thinking in my mind, and I started doing numbers, and I said, well, if I'm a production manager, and I'm paying $12,000 a day for labor, that's how much it costs for my team for one shift, my team to come in here and work, and then you times that by 2 if it's a second shift. If that's what the company is paying, how much are they making?
Now, where did that mentality come from? Because most,
it
you
came
know
from
what
just,
I'm saying?
I have a very inquisitive mind, and I want to know shit all the time. I want to know why things work the way they work, why they are the way they are. So for me, I've always been that way. So when I'm in a place, I want to know what makes it tick, what makes it run. It's almost like a sickness now because of my career, because of my business. I'm everywhere I go, I'm trying to make it better, even if it's not mine. I'm looking if I'm at the bowling alley, I'm critiquing how long it takes me to get my chicken strips to my table. Right? I'm critiquing how long it took me to get my shoes.
Right.
What type of balls are available for me and my wife and children to ball with? Is there? I'm looking at all these things, man.
Yeah.
So it just makes you
you look at the whole picture,
the big picture, right?
Yeah.
And not just the big picture in front of you. You have to look at the bigger picture down the road from there. You know, so for me, it was always a wonder. And when you look at the numbers and you see the numbers, you see not just what you're paying out for a shift for manpower and labor. You see what the company's making off products. How many of this item we're making daily, we sell at this cost. It's like, man, if I own this place I'm working at, I can only imagine what the owner is making, right?
Yeah.
I've worked at some places where owners of companies are making close to $1 million every single day because of the products they make and the volume that they sell. And it's like, to them, it's normal. It's their normal life. And when the owners of the company come in and they visit and they greet you, it's like they just like me and you. They normal people. They just figured out how to get to a bag seriously and how to invest that bag into other avenues and other vehicles. So no wealthy person is going to tell you they got wealthy from doing one thing unless they hit the lottery. Right? You get a lottery winner, and most of those people, God bless them, don't keep that money because they have no idea what to do with it. But you take a person who has built a business and taken the money from their business and invested it into cryptos or real estate, stocks, these other vehicles, mutual funds, CDs for your children. You take that money, man, life insurance. Get you a life insurance that has a cash policy back. Like, it's so many things out there in the world that we aren't taught.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
a lot
what
of
my platform for, man. It's like to bring people like you. You know what I'm saying? That know these things, so I can give it to my community and inform the uninformed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what
it's a lot of things. Like, why don't they teach you in high school?
I'm gonna say this about credit, not to cut you off. Why don't teach us about credit?
Why they don't teach you the basis of credit, how credit works?
Hey.
Why don't they teach you how to establish your EIN and your LLC and how to do your articles of organization?
Why you gotta go to fancy colleges for that?
For things
pay
that
$40,000 to know the minimum,
or you pay $40,000 for someone to do it for you.
Yeah, that's
right.
Crazy.
You can go to it's companies, and I'm not gonna say the names, but it's companies. If you don't know a thing, you can pay them, and they will establish your business for you.
Yep. Get your what they call it? Get your finances in order for you.
They'll do all that for you.
Financial advisors.
No,
hey,
I mean,
you a financial advisor, bro. Like, cause you definitely advised me on my business adventures. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I came to you for advice, it's like you'll let me know, get your ducks in order, and do this and do that.
And look, I can only tell you what works for me, man. Yeah. I'm not an expert, and I'm not the guy that's claiming to be out here making people billionaires, and I just know what I know, and I know what works for me. And I've been fortunate enough to sometimes in my life be given a ball. Like most times, I had to fight for what I want.
All the time. I'll say most time. All the time, bro.
I've run into people, man, in my life, older guys that I've been fortunate enough to sit down and speak with, and they bless me with game, and they bless me with knowledge based off of our conversations. They say, man, we don't meet too many young guys that speak like you speak, or we don't meet too many young guys that's doing what you're doing, or that will take something and use it. You know what I mean? Versus just it falling on deaf ears. So I had a guy, an older guy, man, he was in the mortgage game, he dealt with equity, he dealt with finances. He taught me really like the ins and outs about credit. That's the first thing he taught me.
How old was you?
I was probably 29, bro.
Bro,
this wasn't
that's
early.
What I was about to tell you.
This wasn't early in my life. This was recent. I'm about to be 39. So you talking about within the last 10 years.
And you see how far behind we are?
Man, he gave me so much game because he felt like, or he knew that I would use it properly. So he really only messed with me because I had taught myself like the basics of credit repair. So I was able to at least understand the lingo when he was talking. I was able to have a conversation, not as an expert and not even as an equal with him at the time. I was able to just understand what he was saying. And his response was, 90% of the young men I sit down with your age and younger, they don't even understand what I'm saying. They don't know the lingo. So, based off the strength of that, and I had some information and was able to hip him to some things that he wasn't really aware of because of his time and his age and things that had changed. So we were able to work together, man, and he gave me a lot of game, man, about finances and how banks work, man, and just.
So if we can, I would like you to give a shout out to a couple people that gave you that knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Man, well, it's only one. It was just him.
Yep. That's
and I'm